What if the most famous artist in the world showed up in your small town, told no one who he was, and spent an entire year doing something extraordinary? Not painting masterpieces, not giving interviews, not collecting awards, but quietly buying portraits from a local coffee shop and hand-delivering them, one by one, to strangers. And what if at 86 years old, carrying a lifetime of loss, grief, and guilt, this man became the most beloved person in an entire neighborhood, not because of his genius, but because of the way he listened, the way he saw people, and the way he gave without wanting anything back? That is the story of Theo of Golden, Allen Levi's stunning debut novel. And I promise you, by the time we're done today, you will want to sit on a park bench and look at the world differently. Let's get into it. The story opens in a small, charming southern town called Golden, Georgia. It's springtime. Dogwood trees are blooming, azaleas are spilling over the sidewalks, and a heavy-set, well-dressed old man steps off a private jet from New York City and takes a leisurely morning stroll down Broadway, the town's main street, as if he has all the time in the world. His name is Theo. Just Theo. No last name offered. He's 86 years old, a widower, a former businessman from Portugal. He's here, he says vaguely, on a bit of business, and from the very first page, you sense there is something different about this man. He stops to whisper to a sparrow begging for crumbs. He takes out a jeweler's loupe, a tiny magnifying glass he carries everywhere, to study an azalea bloom up close. He reads every historical marker on every building. He is endlessly, almost childishly curious about everything. He wanders into a coffee shop called the Chalice. The coffee is excellent, but what stops him cold are the walls. 92 pencil portraits, all of local people, drawn in extraordinary detail by a local artist named Asher Glisson. Young, old, joyful, sad, ordinary people. Every face a story. And most of them, Theo notices with bewilderment, are still for sale, at only $125 each. That night, sitting on a bench by the fountain in the town median, a fountain the locals call the Fetter, an idea forms in Theo's mind. He will buy the portraits, all of them, and then he will find their subjects and give them back, one by one. No fanfare, no cameras, just a handwritten letter on expensive paper, an invitation to meet him at the fountain at 7 o'clock on a Thursday evening, and the gift of your own face in a frame. It sounds simple. It is anything but. Theo enlists the help of a distinguished local consultant named James Ponder, who becomes his landlord, confidant, and closest ally. Theo moves into the top-floor apartment of Ponder House, 3 flights of stairs, a wrought iron balcony overlooking Broadway, and pays 6 months' rent up front, so you can't throw me out on the street. He charms even the ice-cold secretary, Mrs. Gidley, who at first distrusts him entirely, calling him a little too nice and a little too slick. Through Mr. Ponder, Theo gets addresses. He writes letters, beautiful letters, in flawless handwriting on fine linen paper, and begins the bestowals. The first is Minette Prentice, a restless CPA in her early 30s. She and her lawyer husband debate whether to show up at all. Is this old man a scammer? A stalker? They stake out the fountain from a safe distance, see the green flat cap, and take the leap. Minette arrives, and within minutes the stranger is reading her face so accurately she starts to cry. He tells her he chose her portrait first because she had the kindest face among them. And then, gently, he says he sees sadness there too, the good kind, the kind that is always trying to tell us something important. Minette breaks open. She tells him about her cold, transactional father, her beloved grandmother who raised her, the pregnancy she ended in college under pressure, and the deep desire she has always had to simply be a mother. Theo never pries. He only listens and affirms. He tells her, strong, brave, kind. It's all there. He presents the portrait to her like a ceremony, calling her Saint Minette. She goes home and hangs the portrait in the spot where she gets dressed in the mornings. Some days she whispers to it, Good morning, Saint Minette. You are strong, and you are brave, and you are kind, even when you are sad. The next bestowals are just as moving. There's Junior Perryman, a one-armed bartender who lost his limb in a mill accident and processes other people's grief every night over a bar. There's 12-year-old Frankie Knowles, a NASCAR-loving boy in a wheelchair whose parents almost don't come. There's Bun and Sarah, two college students with big dreams of starting a magazine together. And then there's Kendrick. Kendrick Whitaker is a night shift custodian at the university. He's quiet, guarded, slow to smile. His portrait shows a young man with restless, worried eyes. When Theo's letter arrives, Kendrick watches the old man from a second-floor window for 20 minutes before finally making his way down. He's suspicious of the wrapped package Theo tries to hand him. In his world, you don't take things from strangers without knowing what's inside. Theo unwraps the portrait quickly, and Kendrick sees himself, rendered in perfect pencil detail, with more care than most people have ever given to looking at his face. He tells Theo he's going to give the portrait to his little girl. It's her 8th birthday. She's in the hospital. Theo learns the story. Kendrick's wife was killed in a car accident. His daughter, LAMISHA, was badly injured. She's been in and out of surgery for months, with no consistent doctor and no insurance. Kendrick works nights and stays with her days. His diabetic grandmother works days and stays with LAMISHA nights. And so Theo, without Kendrick ever knowing, arranges through Mr. Ponder for a world-class pediatric surgeon from Nigeria named Dr. Akanda to take over LAMISHA's case. He pays for all of it. He sends a little girl an art supply kit and a birthday cake on her birthday. And once a week, he rides bus number 37 across town to read stories to LAMISHA on the couch, teaching her syllables and celebrating exclamation points, and writing her a handmade storybook called The Princess of Titalamish about a little girl with a limp who has magic blue shoes. It is one of the most quietly devastating portraits of generosity you will ever read. Theo's world on Broadway expands. He becomes a regular at the Verbivore bookshop, owned by Tony, a Vietnam veteran with a sharp tongue, a mountain of sarcasm, and a heart he keeps carefully hidden. Tony takes an immediate liking to Theo, even as he teases him about being from Rome and connected to the mafia. Their friendship, conducted in wicker chairs over cigarettes and books, slowly becomes one of the most tender threads in the novel. One night, over a bottle of brandy Tony has been saving for a special occasion, Tony tells Theo a story from the Vietnam War he has never told anyone. A story about a little boy, a golf ball, and an act of violence in a village called Ben Suc that has haunted him for 50 years. The scene is devastating and beautiful, and Tony lets out tears he has been holding since 1968. Theo listens in priestly silence. Then there is Ellen, a homeless woman who rides a bicycle she calls the noble invention, wears a wilted blue velvet hat, and can shift from quoting Eudora Welty to ranting about the goons from Colombia in the space of a single sentence. Ellen is among the most unforgettable characters in the book. Her bestowal is one of the most unusual. She arrives dressed up in her finest clothes from the shelter, tells Theo he used a grammatically incorrect sentence in his letter, and then, while sheltering together under his umbrella during a rainstorm, tells him the happiest day of her life. It was the day her newborn daughter, Willa Francesca, was placed on her chest in a Charleston hospital, and the last day she ever held her. Taken away because the system deemed Ellen unfit, Ellen still wears a locket containing a single lock of the baby's blonde hair. When Theo looks at her and says he sees something motherly in her face, Ellen weeps. And then there's Basil Cannonfield, a street musician who plays on the sidewalk outside the Chalice for tips, a former teacher who quit to care for his sister dying of cancer, whose ex-brother-in-law showed up to take the house and the inheritance the day of the funeral. Basil plays popular songs to pay the bills and writes his own to stay sane. Theo befriends him, encourages him, and quietly arranges for him to meet a young cellist named Simone, which leads to something extraordinary. Simone Levi is a graduate student from Seattle studying cello under the legendary Professor Gobelli, the only reason he chose Golden University over schools in Chicago and Boston. He walks the promenade every day with a cello strapped to his back, which Tony calls a hockey player. Simone's grandmother left him her life savings, nearly $14,000, with a note that said, "Buy a cello and play for the angels." Theo and Simone bond over a shared love of the instrument. Theo once heard Pablo Casals play in Paris. He speaks about cellos like a scholar. For Christmas, he anonymously sends Simone an Emil Werner bow, precisely the one Simone had offhandedly mentioned wanting someday. The novel builds towards Simone's year-end master's recital in the beautiful Betty Hall. Theo fills seats with the entire Broadway crew: KENDRICK, BASIL, Ellen in her blue hat, Tony, Mr. Ponder, little LAMISHA. The recital is breathtaking. Simone plays with a passion that shocks people who only knew him as the quiet kid with the cello on his back. Then for the encore, Simone brings BASIL and KENDRICK on stage and performs an original song, Fado for Theo, a tribute to the old man who changed all their lives. Theo sits in the audience with tears running down his face, holding Ellen's hand on one side and LAMISHA's on the other. Theo then surprises everyone, including Simone's parents, who he secretly flew in from Seattle and hid in the balcony all night, and presents Simone with a portrait by Asher Glisson to be shipped to his parents' home. And now, the book's greatest secret. We discover late in the story that Theo is not just an old man from Portugal. He is Gomes Theophilus Zilavez, known to the art world as Zila, one of the most celebrated and reclusive painters of the 20th century. His works hang in the Louvre, the Met, and the UN building. He is worth a fortune. His Zila Gallery in Chelsea houses one of the most valuable private art collections in America. He has been living among these people for a year with no last name, riding the bus, eating modest meals, and giving away $125 portraits, while the art world has no idea where he is. Then comes the devastating final act. One night, after Simone's recital, Ellen is sitting at the Feder late at night, as she often does, quietly singing to herself, when 3 drunk young men try to steal her hat as a prank. When one grabs her bicycle to throw it in the fountain, Ellen fights back ferociously, clawing and scratching like a woman possessed. She is beaten badly, her nose broken, teeth knocked out. Simone, walking home from the recital with his cello on his back, witnesses it and charges in to help. He is beaten and thrown into the fountain. His hand is stomped on, bones shatter, and his 1859 Kreiner cello is smashed to pieces on the bench. From his balcony 3 stories up, Theo watches in horror, shouting and reaching out over the rail. And then he falls. He is found on the sidewalk below. He does not survive. The morning after, Golden wakes up to yellow crime scene tape on Broadway, and then the New York Times runs a 36-point headline: "Renowned artist dies in fall, reclusive genius leaves behind prize collection." The neighborhood is stunned. The world is stunned. Theo was Zila and nobody knew. His memorial at St. James is held at 7 o'clock on a Thursday, the exact hour of his bestowals. Every portrait recipient fills the front rows. Ellen brings the noble invention right to the pew. Father Lundy delivers a eulogy built around the road to Emmaus story, the moment when 2 disciples walking a dusty road realized the mysterious stranger who joined them was Christ himself. "Our hearts burned within us," they said afterward. That, says Father Lundy, is what Theo was to this neighborhood. And in Asher's apartment after the service, a revelation that takes your breath away. Theo was Asher's biological father. He came to Golden because decades ago, as a young man in Spain, he fell in love with a girl from Golden who studied art with him at the Prado. She returned home, married a good man, and raised the son she and Theo conceived, but never told Theo his identity. Years later, a 6-year-old Asher wrote a letter to the famous Zila asking for advice on how to become an artist. Zila replied, and now, 50 years later, he came to meet that boy. The last thing Asher finds in Theo's apartment is a painting. Me painting you painting me, and the evening episcopo opal necklace that Theo had once given to Asher's mother as a pledge of marriage. She returned it in her letter. Theo held it all his life. Now it belongs to Asher. The epilogue is a series of quiet, hopeful updates. Minette leaves her accounting job and has a son named Theo. Simone's hand heals miraculously, and he joins a symphony in Massachusetts. Friends on the promenade crowdfund him a new cello. Basil earns a doctorate and becomes a professor. Kendrick gets promoted to the day shift. LAMISHA grows up wanting to be a physical therapist or an artist. Ellen starts a featherwood craft business and donates her first $1,600 to Simone's cello fund. Tony still mourns, still poor mouths, still drinks one small glass of port a day and a toast. And Willa! The last chapter ends with Mr. Ponder receiving a young woman named Olivia Reese, who shows him a handwritten letter. All we're told is the final word, Willa. Ellen's long-lost daughter has found her way to Golden. The book ends as it began, in springtime, with the promise of something new. So what is Theo of Golden really about? It's about what happens when someone sees you, truly sees you, and reflects your own goodness back to you at the exact moment you've forgotten it's there. Every character in this book is carrying some form of brokenness. A lost child, a lost sister, a lost war, a lost self. And Theo, this 86-year-old man grieving his own dead daughter, shows up and says, I see strength in your face. I see kindness. I see the possibility of a saint. Allen Levi's message is achingly simple. Every face is a story. Every person is capable of saintliness. And the best portion of a good person's life, as Wordsworth wrote, is the little, nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and love. Theo didn't put his name on a building. He didn't give a press conference. He just sat on a bench, listened, and handed people back their own faces. This is one of the most quietly beautiful books I've read in years. If you've ever felt unseen, and most of us have, Theo of Golden is for you. Drop a comment below if this moved you, and let me know which character you connected with most. I'll see you in the next one.